I'm joined now in studio by Defense Secretary Mark Esper. Great to have you here this morning. We have a lot to talk about. And I know you were in the Situation Room. One of the things that President Trump said earlier today was that you were all watching this live. You, the president, Chairman Milley. Tell us what you saw and go through this operation.
Sure, that's right, Martha. Let me first say, as the president said earlier, this is a great day for America. It's a great day for the world. The president made a bold decision to launch this raid, and our military service members and our interagency partners executed brilliantly. So here we are. Earlier in the year, we defeated the physical caliphate, destroyed the physical caliphate, and now its leader is dead. So it's a great day.
And watching that in the Situation Room must have been quite extraordinary. Let us know what aircraft were involved. This started a couple of weeks ago, the president said. You had eyes on him. Just take us through it if you can.
Well, the stars started lining up some time ago. And in the past couple of weeks, a week or so, the operational forces, which were one of several options available to the president, started rehearsing and practicing and doing what they would have to do on the objective. And it wasn't until Thursday and then Friday the president chose his option and gave us the green light to proceed as we did yesterday.
Chose the option, meaning he wanted to do a ground raid.
That's right, a heliborne raid, if you will, onto the objective in Idlib province.
I know you've been looking for him. The Pentagon has been looking for him. Certainly, the U.S. has been looking for him for years. What was the break here?
Good, very good intelligence work by the intelligence community. We had cooperation from partners. And, of course,
help from the Kurds?
I won't get into details. The president spoke that, we did get help from other countries with regard to the past 24, 48 hours for sure. But a lot of good intelligence work by those professionals.
So you're in the Situation Room. You're watching this go down. 8 aircraft. Can you tell us what kind of aircraft? I'm sure you had surveillance over the area. And the president described this as like watching a movie. So tell us what that movie was.
Well, we did have a number of aircraft, different types, principally, I don't want to get into details, but principally the CH-47s.
Helicopters.
Helicopters, that's right. And to put the raid force on the ground. And they were on the ground for 2+ hours.
Let me just go back a little bit. They came under fire? At one point, the president said?
They did early on. There were locals in the area and others, and it's always hard to positively identify them. But, of course, some of the helicopters took fire, and, of course, we returned fire in self-defense. And
then the gunfire stopped. So the helicopters arrive on scene. Al-Baghdadi's in a building, in a compound? He's in a compound, that's right, with there are a few other men and women with him and a large number of children. And our special operators have tactics and techniques and procedures they go through to try and call him out. But at the end of the day, as the president said, he decided to kill himself and took some small children with him, we believe. U.S. aircraft came in and destroyed the building once Baghdadi was dead. Once our forces were off the objective, we destroyed the target site to ensure it was physically destroyed. So the Special Operations Forces arrive and start moving in on Baghdadi. The president described these tunnels, a dead-end tunnel, basically, is where Baghdadi ran. Yes, we knew there were some underground places where he might hide, he might try and go into to seek shelter. We eventually found him, and before we could get in there and get him, he blew himself up. When you say you found him, did our forces have eyes on Baghdadi? I'm not going to get into that level of detail. It's just we knew he was there. We had a high degree of confidence that he was there, and we have subsequently verified that through DNA evidence. And he did take 3 children with him. We believe he had children with him in the tunnel. And any of his wives? I think 2 of his wives were killed on the objective. The president talked about Baghdadi whimpering and crying and screaming. How do we know that? Well, I don't have those details. The president probably had the opportunity to talk to the commanders on the ground, but clearly the guy was a coward and a murderer. I mean, the things at the event that the president called out, how he murdered people, murdered Americans, the beheadings that were conducted over the past several years. He raped a young American woman. It's just he's a thug, a murderer, and the world is better off without him. And the president mentioned James Foley. I want to read something from Diane Foley, a statement. I am grateful to our president and brave troops for finding ISIS leader al-Baghdadi. I hope this will hinder the resurgence of terror groups and pray that captured ISIS fighters will be brought to trial and held accountable. Again, the mother of James Foley, the journalist who was beheaded very early on. And she's right. I think all the praise goes to our
service members and to our intelligence professionals and others who took this on. And the message is, if you're a leader in ISIS, if you're a leader of a terrorist group, we are going to come after you and we will hunt you relentlessly.
Can you give us an idea of how many of our forces were involved? I know no one was hurt.
Well, on the ground, less than 100. But these are always much bigger operations, the tail of which stretches back pretty deep and, again, into the intelligence community and other parts of the interagency. But again, our troops are the best in the world. They know what they're doing. They've done this hundreds of times, and it was a brilliantly executed operation. And the president deserves credit for giving it the green light. These are always inherently risky. And as I like to say, our folks make the complex and the dangerous look simple and safe.
And how was he ID'd, and where is the body now?
Well, I'm not going to speak to the latter, but he was ID'd visually. We had some visual confirmation on the ground, and then certainly the DNA confirmation. And
you had DNA confirmation because he was in that prison in Iraq, and I want to talk about that. That is a hotbed. That was certainly a hotbed of extremism. We've got those kinds of prisons right now in Syria, and we've got U.S. forces pulling out. How concerned are you?
Well, we have about 11,000 estimated prisoners throughout Syria. Those under the control of the Syrian Democratic Forces are under their control and being guarded. They've been tell us that. We're in close contact with the SDF on a daily basis. And I've spoken to my Kurdish counterpart. The Turks are keeping control of those prisons or prisoners that are under their control. So the good news is out of 11,000 prisoners, a little bit more than 100 have escaped. And I know the Turks and others are taking action to try and round them up.
And have any been recaptured? Of those
the Turkish government informed me they had begun capturing folks.
And I want to say that this was a fight that is more ideological at this point. It's online. He will be seen as a martyr. Are you concerned that there will be an uptick in violence?
Look, leadership makes a difference. And al-Baghdadi was the founder of ISIS. He formed the caliphate. He was an inspirational leader in addition to being a thug and a murderer. So when you take out a leader like that, it's going to have, I think, a major impact on the organization. But we'll see over time. Our job is to stay on top of that and to make sure we continue to take out their leadership and our organizations. Again, we went into Syria working with our SDF partners to defeat ISIS. That's where we are today. That's where we will remain.
Okay, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Martha.
Quite an operation.
Thanks
again, Secretary Esper.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.